I was just the guy that wanted to make a vaporizer. Everyone else was like the true machine behind it. And that's true too. Everyone within the company played a big role, but I shouldn't minimize my role either, you know? And I should also accept that I had a big role to play in the company. And yeah, that's the part about loving yourself that I think is so difficult for people, which is it sounds easy to do, but I think everyone only conditionally loves themselves, which is I feel good and I love myself only when I accomplish something. And I think that's a tough lesson to learn, and that's what ultimately why I believe like my dad had a such a tough time dealing with recovering from chemo, is that his self-worth was connected to accomplishing things at work. And when he had to just recover and be a patient, he couldn't, he wouldn't allow himself, he just kept on feeling worthless. He felt like he wasn't contributing. And ultimately, that's not what killed him. The cancer killed him. But I think having that attitude of, I'm not worth as much if I'm not bringing home money to the family, if I'm not giving orders at work, ultimately that was something that I think didn't allow him to fight as much as he could have if he just realized all you need to do is be dad. All you need to do is be granddad. All you need to do is be husband to my mom right now. You don't need to be a leader. You don't need to be the caretaker of the family right now. That's why you did such a good job raising all of us so we could take care of you. And even though we told him these things, he couldn't separate, which is why it's like super important to me, which is if I'm going to learn anything from my father's death, this is one of the strongest lessons that I need to learn, which is to let go of just trying to be the leader or the caretaker and being vulnerable enough to ask for help. And I know I've been this way with you, so it's nothing new to you. But I think for a lot of people out there that see us or any other strong men out there, they need to realize like we have these same feelings too. And we're just trying to understand. And yeah, to your point, if people want to block you because you have a differing opinion, well, maybe those people aren't the right people in your life right now, but definitely always express your opinion. And what I love about this is, let's be real. There are Asian American and African American tensions going on in different parts of this country right now. And there have been some pretty vile things said by these NYU Asian American students that, that were discovered, and those guys have been exposed. And, this is really a time for us to unify. And there's a long history of, Yellow Peril supporting Black Power. And what's cool is my wife is actually interviewing her ex-boss. Her ex-boss works for Levi's, and she penned an article about Black Lives Matter on Facebook. And Levi's actually decided to publish it in their email newsletter and send it out to everyone. And it's really beautiful. She's African.
Don't say that. I am not.
Hold on. What?
I'm not interviewing her. It's not confirmed. Don't say that.
Okay, calm down. Okay, the interview's not confirmed. The interview's not confirmed. Jesus. This is why I don't voice my opinions on Facebook. You see, this is what happens when you tell a chatty guy something. He just tells everybody. Well, it's gonna be dope. Well, either way, regardless if she interviews her or not, that's dope that Levi's took her Facebook post, was so moved by it, and decided to put it in their newsletter, to teach the rest of their employees why Black lives really matter. And man, at this point, I still can't believe people don't understand what it really stands for. And, I mean, maybe just like the dodo birds, people who still don't understand why it matters will go the way of the dodo, because I think there's less and less of these types of people. And shit, hopefully we could enter that weekend. Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly believe, I was telling you that the San Mateo marches were led and organized by high schoolers, so it does give me hope that, the next generation's wising up and they could learn from our mistakes. And you know what? I mean, America really is like the first multicultural company or country experiment in the history of the world, so yeah, it is a corporation. I mean, when politicians spend 60% of their time raising money to get reelected, you're like, wait, 40% of your time is working and 60% of your time is raising money to get reelected? What are you really doing? Like, are you working for us? Oh, man. You know what? The smartest thing I said was a slip of the tongue today, which is basically calling this a company, and I think we've seen, just like revenue is the most important thing to a company. GDP is obviously the most important thing to the orange orangutan, and he's running it like, whatever makes us the most money. And you know what? Here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing about like the tariff deal. I don't know if anyone's looked into like the tariff deal with China, but China lost about $300 million in steel because of the tariffs, and we're like minus like 23 billion on all the other things. So let's just say this guy's business acumen might not be as good as we think. Yeah, time to go to work. All right, I'll see you on the other line.